Okay, so now we have talked about um, logic thought process, common logic functions such as nots, buffers, ands, nors, all the different gates that we've looked at. And then we've also designed a few circuits following just kind of a logical thought process, or in some cases, as I showed, we may use a flow chart. Most engineers and process folks are going to do that flow chart mentally. And they're not necessarily going to write out a flow chart, but it's a very important tool for you to use once your circuits begin to get rather complicated. It'll help you keep track of what you're doing. Another method is to use Boolean algebra. Now, this isn't a topic that we're going to dive into incredible depth, but I do want you to be familiar with it and know about it. So we're going to take a little bit look at it here. So there's a website called All About Circuits. Okay, so there's some exceptional online resources, and this website, All About Circuits, is one of them. They've got great videos, tutorials. The app, they've just got a ton of stuff. But Boolean algebra is a way for us to look logically at different scenarios. Okay, and so it's an entire area of mathematics, Boolean algebra. So it's not so much different. It's not so much different than regular algebra. If when we look at Boolean algebra, if I told you that I have a 1 times 0, I'm going to equal 0, right? Well, if I drew this in a logic circuit, we have our armature here. And I assign this A and B. Again, if it's A and this multiplication is an AND function, then it's very easy to see that if I have a 1 here, this guy will be closed, but this will still be open, so the light will be off. So Boolean algebra can be very similar to regular math or regular algebra. However, with ones and zeros, it ends up applying a little bit different. So this chapter 7 on the All About Circuits does an introduction to Boolean algebra, okay, and really talks about like what we've been discussing. A high is a 1, a low is a 0, and gives us example of ones and zeros, and we're able to start talking about binary math. And at this point, you guys have had some binary math, and we've kind of used some examples of binary math when I've created the truth tables. Binary math is just ones and zeros, and it's a way to represent numbers in a digital sequence or a digital world of computers and processors. They all talk with a 1 or a 0, trues and false statements. And so that's all about circuits. We get into here and we get into Boolean arithmetic, and we get into identities and rules for simplification, and there's all of these different options for learning Boolean, and in here you can see that I'll show how we apply Boolean to the truth tables that we've created in the other lessons. But I'd like you to take a few minutes to look this content over in the Chapter 7 Boolean Algebra of All About Circuits.